Nick Robinson here for Polygon, and today I want to show you a game called SEUM, Speedrunners from Hell. I think that's how you pronounce it, SEUM, S-E-U-M. I'm assuming it's pronounced SEUM because that rhymes with Doom, and as you can probably tell, this game draws a lot of inspiration from those early to late 90s shooters like Doom and Quake and stuff like that. But what sets this game apart is that it's actually not really a shooter at all, at least barely a shooter. It's more of a super tight speedrunning game, almost more akin to something like Trials or even Super Meat Boy. I've actually seen some shades of, this is going to sound weird, Super Monkey Ball in here. Maybe it's just because I've been playing a lot of the classic Monkey Ball games lately, but it's really more of this Twitch action arcadey platformer with these super short levels, and by short I mean like 5 to 10 to even 25 seconds long each. This stage you're seeing here is actually a boss level, so this is one of the, I believe it or not, this 25-second stage is one of the longer ones in the game, where it's kind of stringing together a bunch of the mechanics you've learned before. But basically, the core of SEUM is a sort of first-person platforming speedrunning game with Quake-like controls. And so what that means, obviously, then, is that it's all about jumping, bunny hopping, making sure you're like nailing these strafes, a lot of strafing and shooting and firing at targets. But really, like what it has to, I think what a game like this has to get right in order for it to be of any worth is the feel, right? Like in order to make a game about the movement of games like Quake, you have to nail the way that stuff feels, and I am pleased to report that it does exactly that. It's got the exact right weight and floatiness and momentum and sort of like jump height even that those games had, and I think that's so crucial for a game like this. It really taps. I'm the type of person who loves, and I don't know if everyone is this way, but I'm the type of person who loves games that encourage you to retry over and over until you nail a really hard challenge. Stuff like Meat Boy, obviously, and Trials are huge versions of that, but just any game where you're repeatedly attempting to nail a task, and this game totally distills that down to a science in kind of a pretty unique way, I think, by incorporating, like combining, I guess, the motion of mid-90s shooter with the time trial elements of a platformer. And it's funny because there's so much stigma around the idea of a first-person platformer. I think there have been good examples and bad examples of it all throughout history. And this game, I think, really cleverly goes back to the roots of good-feeling first-person games, those arcadey, Twitch-based shooters, and incorporates new mechanics into it, including this sort of teleport mechanic here. So throughout the game, you're collecting these power-ups. They get assigned a right mouse button, and it kind of varies from stage to stage. This one is kind of the introduction of the teleport mechanic, where basically you right-click and get instantly teleported to whatever location your little ball hits. And that's just one of them. There's also an anti-gravity one that is surprisingly fun, that kind of lets you hold right mouse button to invert gravity and fly around. And in addition to that, there's kind of almost like a 3-star system how you do on each level. So this time I hit the best possible time, so that's why it says dominated there. There's 1 skull you get for just getting through it without running out of time. 1 skull you get for getting through it in the best possible time, so you're taking shortcuts, kind of like how I skipped over those platforms and just hopped through the end. And then a third thing, this sort of beer can collectible that's hidden in every stage. So by collecting that, and by the way, once you collect it, you can just kind of exit. You don't have to try to beat the level in time, because stages like this one, where the time limit is just a couple seconds long, there's kind of no need to go to the exit. But once you've collected that, there are actually levels, I think, tied in the progression to collecting those beer cans. But it's kind of like surprisingly fun to kind of go to each level and be like, okay, but where's the hidden thing? This level is actually a really great example of that. This level teaches you that by right-clicking a second time with the teleport mechanic, you can actually interrupt your teleporter and just warp up. So what that means for this level is you can kind of see that beer can at the very beginning of the stage. You shoot up, warp up, interrupt your own teleport, shoot again to teleport yourself. Oh, might take me a couple tries. Teleport yourself onto the top of the cage that you spawn into, and from there you can kind of collect the collectible, like so. It's a really cool, really refined concept for a game. I don't, like, aesthetically, it's maybe not exactly what I'm looking for. Don't get me wrong, I love the Doom stuff, all the Hellfire and stuff. There's kind of a lot of voice acting and jokes being shouted by the main character that don't always land for me, but the core mechanics themselves, I think, are surprisingly solid. It's the kind of the perfect game if you're the type of person who, like, listens to podcasts and wants a game to occupy your hands and kind of just use the frontal lizard part of your brain for a little bit. This is exactly perfect for that. This is a really cool mechanic here. You can hit the right mouse button to split. So basically, when you hit right mouse button, you go into this black and white mode where you kind of run off separate from your main character, then you right click again, jump back into your body, and then your body's left right where you left it. which I think is a cool idea. I love that it's a split because that's obviously a piece of terminology in the speedrunning community. I don't know, I really enjoyed my time with SEUM. It's 15 bucks on Steam, and I believe that's the only place it's available right now. But if you're in the mood for kind of a twitchy first-person platforming game with really, really solid movement fundamentals, this game is one of those games where it only takes a couple minutes to get comfortable with the controls, and from there, it's just a really good time. So this is SEUM, and I've been Nick Robinson, and thank you for watching.